So looking at the movie list of 2013, it reminded me of movie 43. Well, it's on the list, movie 43. I think I've talked about this movie. It's like it's a bunch of like really big stars, and it's like the vignette, like little shorts. But it's actually, I realized this because I watched it again a while ago, and it was a different movie actually, like legit different movie.
Wow, everybody says this.
There are 2 different movies released for movie 43.
What do you mean?
So the vignettes are all the same, but the intersecting story on how they are presented, there's 2 different stories of that. There's one where I want to say it's Dennis Quaid's character is like holding this like Hollywood executive hostage and pitching him all these really bad movies.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's another one where it's like these kids on the dark web, like it starts out as a joke, but then ends up turning this whole thing of like them trying to find like this short that tells the end of the world or something. There's literally 2 different versions of this movie, and it blew my fucking mind.
I mean, I'm looking at the wiki and there's no.
What is the wiki? What is the wiki?
Wait, here we go.
Yeah, no, it says it on there. There's 2 different versions.
So in the United Kingdom and the Netherlands, the structure differs. Instead of a pitch, the films are connected by a group of 3 teenagers searching for the most banned film in the world.
Yeah.
That will ultimately lead to the destruction of civilization. Huh.
Yeah.
Wonder why.
I don't know, but it was literally, I think it actually kind of goes into explaining a little bit farther there, like something, but like I was so just confused because I turned it on and I was like, what is happening? Because it was not the movie that I watched when it first came out. And it was like I felt like I was entering into a Mandela effect.
That's what it kind of feels like they were trying to make, a Mandela effect.
Yeah. Like it was, yeah. I feel like it was fitting to share because that came out the same year as the movie we're reviewing today.
Get a fuzzy wuzzy.
And I counted movie 43 as 2 movies.
I guess that's fair. There are 2.
Yeah. It's like maybe 1.5, but still. But like the narrative of how they're...
I'll give you 1.5.
The narrative of how the shorts that are in it are presented are 2 completely different stories. 2 completely different narratives. 2 completely different characters.
Did you look up if you can get both, like, here in the States now?
No, I haven't dug that far into it, but I definitely do want to figure out.
So the first one's called The Pitch, and then the alternative UK version is The Thread.
The Thread?
Yeah.
That makes sense.
For clarification.
Cool.
So if you're looking to find that.
If anybody out there listening is curious about this awful movie for movie 43.
Is it awful?
It's just super, like, raunchy.
Non-PC.
Yeah. I mean, one of the funniest bits in it is Chloe Grace Moretz. And she's like, it's called like First Date. And she's like 12 or 13. And she's, middle school. She's like having her first like date with the boy that she likes at his house. And she starts her period. And it just turns into like a goddamn bloody nightmare. You've seen that. Yeah.
I didn't know that was this movie.
That's from this movie. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I have seen that. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen it like on Instagram or something.
Yeah.
Huh. All right. Well, cool. 2 movies in 1. Why the hell? This is Tommy.
This is Jacob.
This is
Tommy and Jacob's mixtape. I got a bad feeling about this mission.
Hello. Welcome back, everyone.
How's everybody out there?
We're continuing with our blockbuster block that we missed that are female-led.
That somehow became feminist.
That became female-led. That was interesting.
I guess, yeah, became feminist.
Yeah, and I'm like, that's a little like, it became female-led. We were just looking at the movies and we're like, oh, we didn't watch that. Oh, we didn't watch that.
There are feminists. There, I mean, but all 3 of them have like super like strong like feminist. Well, this one is weird because like the director said it does, but then nobody really picked up what he was putting down. Mm-hmm. They picked up a lot of other things.
Yeah. But yeah, we are doing 2013's Gravity.
Yes.
How
does the song go?
We won't get in trouble.
I don't know. We're not monetized. We can't get demonetized.
That's true. We can't make any less.
We need to talk about that actually. Maybe we should monetize. Let's see what happens. Just like
Gravity. Oh God. I have so many simulation stories for the last week. It's been like brutal.
It's happening, man. Like we're
okay. Just real quick.
All right.
Fast as well.
I was
talking about the Hojo Koi controversy thing.
Okay.
Because my partner didn't know about it, so I was explaining that. And then the next day, I went and I was just like, "Oh, I'm going to check out later seasons of Family Guy because I haven't watched it in years." I turned it on, and it's a Taylor Swift joke.
Oh, Taylor Swift joke. Okay. Yeah. Oh, that's right, because he said a Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
Joke.
And it was just like it was just a random episode I picked, and I was like, and it's just been this spiral of weird. They're watching.
It's the greatest fucking story I've ever heard.
They're watching. They're called security guards, and they're watching.
But
I digress.
Today we're talking about Gravity. Do you want to give us some?
An astronaut faces certain death after a freak accident in space.
Freak accident after freak accident
after
freak accident.
No, it's kind of the same. It's the one, but for some reason we keep looking at it like it's gonna be a different outcome. I'm like, you know what's coming. Stop staring at it. Keep moving. Like I was really by the third time I was like, yeah, we know it's coming back around. Like, can we
comes around, goes around.
Can we stop looking at it like it's gonna have a different outcome? But anyways,
but it did have a different outcome.
But before we get into all the details, did you like this?
I really did, but I also I don't know. I feel I don't know how much I'm going to release. I don't really know what to really talk about with this movie in a lot of weird ways.
I think I have a lane to go in.
Cool. I mean, I really did. I also didn't realize how big this movie was.
Dude.
Like, talk about like a thing we missed.
I remember coming out and like, in all honesty, at the time I watched it and I was like, I am so utterly uninterested.
So you actually saw it when it came out?
No, I remember like seeing it come out,
yeah.
you know, and I was like, I don't care.
I was interested. I was like, that sounds kind of interesting, but I didn't realize that it had like one of the most like Oscar nominations tied with another movie of all time. I was like, what the fuck? It was one of the like super highest grossing movie of like
October.
Yeah, I was like, what the fuck? Okay.
Broke the both the stars like highest grossing movie from previous like.
I was like, oh
wow, this did really well.
And we were just like, woo. I mean, I was going to Cornish. I was in school living in a theater pretty much.
I'd probably find out there wasn't aliens in it. I got all like me.
Oh, dude, did you read about the test audiences thing?
No.
So when they first showed like it to test audiences, like with like not complete finished, a test audience was like, it would be better if there were like aliens and monsters in it.
Yeah.
And Alfonso Cuarón was like,
that's not the fucking point.
Yeah, like freaking damn Americans.
So yes, Gravity was first released on August 28th in 2013
at the Venice Film Festival. Yeah,
the 70th annual Venice International Film Festival. I just thought that was they pointed it out, so make it specific. And then general release on October 4th, 2013.
Yeah, it was number 6 domestically and number 8 worldwide box office.
Yeah, no, I saw that.
So is it within the top 10?
Yeah.
So yeah, like it does just kind of blows my mind of how the awareness we had of this movie, and I thought it was something going to be completely different as well. Like I thought it was so much more going to be about like her just floating in space. Like as it was happening, I was like, how is there another hour of this movie? Isn't it just like her spinning off into space? Isn't that the thing?
Like once that happened, you're like, are we just gonna come back?
Yeah, it's like,
come back. You know, like I kind of had that thought too. But wait, actually pause for 1 second. I was just curious because I know that we've noticed this before. So we said what? This was there we go. It's loaded. Number 6, right? Huh. Well, I was trying to think of what could have made this go quiet considering its theme that it was in with the sci-fi thing. I mean, number 5 was Man of Steel. You had Star Trek Into Darkness.
Oh, you're trying to say like what beat it?
What might have made it quieter because if you kind of look at it too, so you had Hunger Games, Iron Man 3, Despicable Me 2, Man of Steel, which everyone was really looking forward to considering, Batman Begins.
I think Despicable Me 2 came out afterwards and like kind of started like.
Oh yeah, then you had the Hobbit, Desolation of you had a lot of franchises coming out with their like follow-ups, Star Trek Into Darkness, Thor: The Dark World, you know what I mean? So yeah, I think just because of this kind of this quiet sci-fi thriller that it was, there was a lot of other loudness around it.
I think also it just nobody was. It's so much. It's sci-fi because it's in space, but it's not sci-fi. It's a survivalist story.
Yeah, I mean the easiest way, I don't know. I think the easiest way to describe it is sci-fi thriller, just because.
Yeah, but I think it's weird to say, but just because it's in space, it's not really science fiction as we know science fiction.
No.
And I think that's what people just think like, oh, it's in space, it's gonna be science fiction.
Oh, and I guess also if you call it a sci-fi thriller, it does give it this. No, it's
Alien.
It's literally it's Castaway in space.
Exactly. Oh no, and that was actually the big thing.
Yeah, what he was talking about.
Was like he wanted to find someone that could like run
a Tom Hanks.
Yeah, exactly. And it was originally Angelina Jolie.
The list was actually pretty long.
And also, like I'm sitting there, I'm like, why wasn't Sandra like one of the top choices?
I thought that was weird too. I don't know. Maybe it's just timed. It's just she wasn't.
I don't know.
Picking up heat anymore.
I don't know. I have no idea. You know that she turned 60 this year.
Good for her.
Yeah, she looks.
I mean, she doesn't look any different whatsoever.
Yeah, no, she still looks like she could be my age.
Yeah, she's pretty,
very pretty. Oh, how many movies did you have for 2013?
29.
25.
Yeah. Good year. I was looking at it kind of like some kind of a really interesting, really funny stuff.
A lot of things that I am aware of that just I haven't watched.
Yeah, and then also with this year too, because of the year, it was a lot of stuff I just refused to watch. Like G.I. Joe Retaliation. I'm just so utterly uninterested in
that's fair.
I was like, nah.
Well, let's get into writer, director, starring, and all that stuff.
Okay.
So yeah, this was written and co-written by Alfonso Cuarón and his son Jonás Cuarón and Cuarón. Sorry, Cuarón. The O's got the accent. Cuarón. You don't care.
I wasn't questioning you. I don't trust me in pronouncing names.
I look these things up,
I do, but doesn't mean I remember them.
Cuarón.
We have to do it like right before we start.
And it was a very different story originally. Once it was eventually turned into them being like isolated in space. But I mean, Jonás just has the writing credit. This really seems to be a lot more of Alfonso's brainchild. So Alfonso, director of Children of Men, director of Prisoner of Azkaban, and director of
two of my favorite movies.
A very interesting sexual awakening story called Y Tu Mamá También.
Oh, I didn't look at that one. I looked at Roma.
Y Tu Mamá También came out in like when I was in high school, and there was like a weird buzz. It was like because it was like this interesting art house Mexican film, and like I just find it amusing that he goes from Y Tu Mamá También, which is about these two young men that have a weird sexual awakening together. And then someone in Hollywood's like, let's get that guy to direct this children's movie, Prisoner of Azkaban. Like,
well, it wasn't as simple as that.
I know, but it was just like, these are two very interesting. I don't know. And then Prisoner of Azkaban, obviously, regarded as like one of the best Harry Potter movies. And the only one that he directed.
That's the one that really got me into the franchise.
Yeah, well, because the first two are very clearly more directed towards kids. Yeah, they were directed by Chris Columbus.
Oh yeah, we talked about that.
So,
and then it goes real dark.
And then it has that shift, yeah. And then Prisoner of Azkaban happens, and we can thank Alfonso Cuarón for bringing that to us.
Children of Men is awesome.
Children of Men is fantastic.
It's a great movie.
I love the use of the long shot in that movie. It's one of the, it's if not the best in my opinion, or how I just appreciate it. It like is just hands down one of the best uses of just tension built with long shots because you don't realize that it's like one continuous shot at all.
Well, and it's a cool and a quiet end of the world, which is really interesting.
Yeah.
You know, like the social and economic. If you know, children and men, basically humans can no longer procreate.
And yet there's one pregnant woman.
And then we find out that there's this pregnant woman that everyone's trying to get their hands on to figure out why she's pregnant and no one else can be.
Yeah.
And so the oldest, like the big thing is like the oldest, in the beginning, the youngest person alive dies in an accident and he was 18.
Yeah.
And they're all like, oh shit. So it's everyone's going through this big thing of mortality.
Existential crisis.
Yeah, it's a really cool movie.
It's like, dude, we all are going to die.
Yeah, it's like you're slowly watching your species just pick, like through time, just naturally drop off. It's just it's
dystopic. It's very dystopic.
Yeah, it's a very interesting movie.
It's a wonderful movie too.
Michael Caine is great in that. Sorry, we're not talking about that. Anyways, okay.
I mean, yeah. So written, directed with Alfonso and Jonás. So we can move into starring after this.
Yeah. I mean, it's easy.
Let's start with George, because I feel like because of how much more of like Sandra is in the movie.
Okay.
You know, I mean, so yeah. Well, George Clooney is Kowalski. Yeah. Spacewalker. If you don't know who George Clooney is, we did him with Leatherheads. I meant to look up that episode.
Episode 57.
Thank you. Episode 57.
We've done everyone in this movie at one point or another.
When did we do Sandra?
Bullet Train.
Oh, fuck. That's right.
I mean, she's just the handler.
Yeah, she's kind of like a shout out, but still. Yeah, okay. What about Ed Harris? Have we done Ed Harris?
Snowpiercer. He's the guy, the head of the train.
I don't remember that. I don't remember.
He's the one in the one making the engine run.
Yeah, I know,
He's
but why do I not remember him being that character? I don't know. That's weird. But I mean, I believe you. Mandela effect. It's gonna be a new thing for us, I think.
Well, everyone's like, actually, no, that was Ed Holmes, and you're like, what? Wait, what that happened?
Tommy, that was Tom Cruise.
Yeah. Then shout out to Ed Harris, who plays again. He's Sandra Bullock in this. He's Mission Control.
Yeah.
Who we did in Snowpiercer.
He's also. I mean, he's only in the first like 10 minutes.
He's in the first 10 and the last 10.
Oh yeah, did you watch this on Netflix? Mm-hmm. Was it extremely quiet at the beginning?
Yeah.
Well, like even like I had to turn my TV up like to like 50 for me to hear anything, and like through the entire film, I didn't even turn it down through the entire film.
Well, that's the point of the movie, is that space is.
Well, but even like when she's like in the like the isolated spaces, the spaces where there is sound,
yeah,
like it was still like not super loud. I don't know if maybe like there was something weird streaming, or Netflix is like just bumped their goddamn volume down or something.
No, I mean I think I had mine up to 30 and had to turn my fan off. But also I turned off my fan because I was like, they want you to see how quiet.
Well, because I even at the beginning of it, I paused the movie and I switched to a different streaming platform, and my TV was screaming at me.
I really think it was the movie.
That's weird.
I really think that was the point, was to make it very, because also I think this movie was kind of designed to see in theaters.
It was meant to kind of like watch at IMAX. I think it was filmed on it was all like special effects.
Well, yeah, but I think it was supposed to encompass you in this blanket of silence. I think was the idea.
I mean, that makes sense because the idea of isolation and whatnot in it. So.
And it's space and it's dark and
that all came out of George Clooney.
Yeah, and then our star, Sandra Bullock, who plays Dr. Ryan Stone. Mm-hmm. Who, like I said, we talked. No, I don't even think we talked about her.
We didn't really talk about her, no.
But yeah, she was in Bullet Train. Speed, Miss Congeniality,
Demolition Man,
Bird Box.
I looked through her movies. I was trying to pinpoint what movie I saw her in where I got really got my hardcore crush on her. And it's got to be like either Speed or Demolition Man.
Well, Demolition Man, she's really cute in that.
Yeah.
She's kind of quirky and she's funny in that.
She has 25 acting credits in just the 90s.
How many does she have altogether?
I meant to write that down too, but I just think that's crazy. Like, and then like, she has 5 movies in just 1993 alone.
60. So almost half of her movies are in the 90s.
She has 5 movies in 1993 alone and 5 movies in 1998. Like, she was fucking huge in the 90s.
I'm just like looking, yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy just like how big her career in like how just huge she was in the 90s.
What I like too is her little like sprinkle of random like rom-com-y.
Yeah. I mean, she was all over the place. She was doing everything, man.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, one of my favorites.
Practical Magic.
Yeah, that's a great one. Practical Magic.
She's in The Prince of Egypt. Wow.
She does the voice of someone. Yeah, I know.
There's a lot of people in The Prince of Egypt.
Val Kilmer. Yeah, we're not talking about that anymore.
Ralph Fiennes, Michelle Pfeiffer. What? I didn't realize how many people were in this. Jeff Goldblum.
Okay, move. Get off it. Get
Patrick
off it.
Stewart.
Get off it. Get off it. Gravity.
Steve Martin.
Gravity.
Steve Martin.
Gravity.
Sorry.
Gravity.
That's the most random one. And Martin Short. Okay. Okay. You didn't know any of that, did you?
Gravity.
Gravity.
Oh man, this episode's turned into a shit show in a weird way. All right. That's kind of really it for starring. I mean, this movie is so much more about like the movie. Mm-hmm. You know.
Well, why don't you give us our numbers and go to reviews and
yeah,
then
let's do that. Yeah. Weirdly a little all over the place. IMDb, it's got a 7.7. And then Rotten Tomatoes, it's got a 96% tomato meter. So like review, like critically, like this movie's very critically acclaimed. And then audience score is 79. So I think this is definitely one of those where it's like and I can see it, like especially like there's that moment when she gets into the ISS, the International Space Station, and she's taking everything off, and then she kind of like
the womb.
Yeah, it turns
thing.
into like it's like very embryonic. You know,
imagery,
like,
yeah.
You know, like the umbilical cord looks like. You know, I'm just sitting there. I'm like, oh, this is like a movie. Like this isn't just like I'm like, oh, he's actually making imagery and he has metaphors. Like this is okay.
Yeah, that was a cool shot.
It was a beautiful shot. But yeah, so I can see like. Audience not being like super audiences are probably just like ooh. A lot of people are like it's not what they were expecting. Like I wasn't expecting this.
Yeah, I wasn't either. So yeah, 96 on Metacritic, which is universal acclaim, and with a positive 49 reviews at 100%. They're all positive.
Yeah,
there wasn't a single one.
96% tomato meter reading.
Yeah, there's none. But I'm also like, why isn't it 100 then? But yeah.
Yeah, give us some stuff.
It is what it is. Entertainment. Usually I use the number to help me there. There you go. 100 out of 100 Entertainment Weekly by Owen Gilberman. Gilberman. The miracle of the movie is the way that director Alfonso, using special effects in 3D with a nearly poetic simplicity and command, places the audience right up there in space along with them. Mm-hmm. And that's the thing that a lot of these are about, the effects. It's comparing it to 2001 Space Odyssey.
I mean, that's fair.
The effects, and then...
Well, because so much of the movie is like, they're not actually in zero space. Like, I really wanted to like find a behind the scenes, like how this movie was made. Because, like, one, for special effects... Everything looks so fucking real.
Well, I think that they were smart in the fact that they didn't try and do like a back and forth thing. It's like pretty much the entire movie is special effects except for their faces.
Yeah.
Or her out of a spacesuit.
Yeah. Or just sitting in like the...
Yeah, you know, just sitting in the cockpit or whatever. It was like, okay, because a lot of the time that's when they become jarring.
Yeah.
Is when you have both. But it was like they did it well where they're like, no, let's just really lean into for this whole sequence. We need to anyways. Let's lean into it. And then when we're having, and those are the peril moments, and then are having our human moments, you know. And then I picked this because it was like one of the few that wasn't talking about the effects. 88 out of 100. McClathy Tribune News Service. That's all mouthful. By Roger Moore. I shouldn't talk. Our show's a mouthful. By Roger Moore. Bullock and Clooney make our peril in this absolutely gorgeous, moving, and sometimes exuberant reminder that the real terrors of space are scary enough without invented bug-eyed monsters thrown in.
Hey, I like that. I really like that.
That's what I thought was the best one. Because I feel like everyone was so blown away. Because even with blown away by the effects that even with Clooney being his, like, to me, real Buzz Lightyear kind of character in the beginning of it, you know? Ever tell you the story about, you know, like, I'm Spaceman.
It weirdly does lean into this, like, trope of, like, an astronaut, like, a captain-type astronaut who, like, you know, he's a space cowboy. You know, he's got a lot of stories and he's done a lot of things.
Yeah. But this, like, you know, this kind of nonchalantness, and then when shit goes down is even like, you know, he's done this for a long time, so he kind of
knows how to keep his cool.
But he also knows too that it goes to shit, it's going to shit. There's not much you can do about it.
Well, it's like he's a man. And they do a really good job of like setting this up. Is these are people that follow protocol, and like he's been doing this for so long. It's by it. If this doesn't work, then we go to this. Like if this doesn't work, then we go to like contingency stuff. You follow protocol, and the like permission to help the doctor. Permission to ask the doctor for if I can help. Permission granted to ask, may I help you, doctor? You know, just there's this whole like this like following like asking
a guide, a rule book.
Yeah. And it's like, and it was just I get, and I really like that because like even when as things are like falling apart for him, then or for them, you know, he's following the protocol. And he's like, no, we keep talking to Houston because we don't know if they can hear us.
Yeah.
And if they can, then they're going to save us. Even though if we can't hear them, and they might hear us, you know, like, and then keep your space log, keep it everything. So when they do find it, then everybody knows what happened, you know, or if it is ever found type thing, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, find a black box in space.
Dude, when she started spinning off, I was suffocated.
Let's get, those are the reviews. So, first thing I want to point out about this movie.
Okay.
And one of the reasons I really liked it is that it is an hour and a half long. No. The reason I say that is because that is the perfect amount of time for the story they're trying to tell, mainly because of these kind of movies, especially with the space, the Lost and the survival aspect. They can really, really wring it out and make it really long for you to feel connected to these people to where you give a shit. Mm-hmm. They were able to make you give a shit in a very short amount of time, and you didn't sit there like...
Well, it's also kind of like a race against time.
So there is, it's not like
Castaway
where he has all the time in the world until he's found. This is like we have 90 minutes in between each cycle of this thing happening. So I just really loved that it was an hour and a half. It felt a little bit longer because of the tension, but it was over, and not like, oh, thank God it was over. I think it was just a perfect little bite-sized sci-fi flick. I mean, a thriller, survival flick. Because in so many times you'll just see him really stretch it out. Like they could have easily made this 2+ hours long if they really wanted to. And I
don't think Alfonso wanted to.
I don't think he did, but I'm just saying. I was just sitting there, and as soon as I loaded it up on Netflix and I saw an hour and a half, I was like, interesting. So this is going to be either really well-written storytelling, or you're going to leave a little kind of like, they could have.
And it was amazing storytelling.
Yeah, so that's one thing I really want to sing praises about it.
Hell yeah.
Because they didn't beat it to death, you know? They really made the point clear, and even with the dialogue and everything.
Well, and even like her journey through like her like kind of survivalist guilt at first a little bit, to the accepting of the fate of stuff, to even like, no, I will not give up, like, you know, to her, I don't know how to pray to God, if there is a God, like all of these things, like it really goes. There was a part of me is like, there's a lot, they're definitely like exploring like the themes of like the 7 stages of grief. Is that it? Yeah. We talked about it a little bit with Groundhog Day, I want to say.
Oh yeah, we did. A long time ago. Yeah, we did.
Coming up actually.
Huh?
Groundhog Day coming up.
Oh yeah, it is.
Yeah. And
just re-release that episode.
I kind of want to. But like the biggest thing is like, it's kind of like a weird exploration of Murphy's Law in the worst fucking place you can have Murphy's Law happen. Because space, I'm terrified of the ocean. But the ocean isn't infinite. The ocean has an end. There is a limited amount of space that the ocean is, but it is still expansive. Space is infinite. We don't know where it ends. It's continually, constantly expanding.
What am I scared of more?
Space is terrifying when you really think about it.
No, yeah, I'm terrified of space.
Yeah.
Like, no, this movie was horrifying.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, but that's why I love the genre, you know, like Dead Space and Alien Isolation and in space they can't hear you scream, you know, that whole concept.
Well, and also so much of like, I was sitting there thinking of like the maneuverability in space. Like a lot of people liken it's like, oh, it's like swimming, isn't it? It's like, no, it's like you get tapped and you just start to drift in that direction. And then also terminal velocity has control over that. You're not just drifting at one like speed. You could be drifting off in space and not even realizing how fast you're fucking spinning, going, or doing anything.
Well, yeah, and that was what they did great with that whole, you know, and you see her evolution into the actual like space, because, you know, she's a doctor that is coming up to work on this. You don't really get entirely what they're working on, but it's this experimental thing that they're trying on this
on the Hubbles.
On the Hubble, yeah. And then you see her kind of evolve and start really kicking her 6 month of training into gear, even when she's, you know, because at first she's spinning out and she has no idea which direction she's looking. And Clooney, Kowalski is like asking for a bearing, like give me something, like what you're looking at, you know, and she's hysterical. But then when she's getting to the Chinese space station, she's counting.
Her survivalist instincts have kicked in.
Well, like as she's spinning, she realizes, oh, this space station's at 180. She spins twice more, and she's like, okay, 180. Okay, now shoot, because, you know, she's starting to learn the
her training.
Tricks.
Her training is like, she's like, okay, they taught me all this stuff for a fucking reason.
Now let's actually.
I need to implement it. I can't. There's no one to rely on. I have to do this myself.
Yeah.
And that's one of the biggest themes is really just this survivalist instincts and a human and their fight for life, their fight for survival. You know, like there's also kind of like there's that old phrase like there's no atheists in a foxhole type thing. And I kind of see a little bit of that in here as well. Like specifically, well, there's also that, I don't know, when Kowalski entered the goddamn...
I knew it immediately.
That it was a dream. I kind of did too. Well, at first I was like, what the fuck is happening? Like, and when it opened and I was like, that would immediately kill her. And then she wasn't dead. I was like, oh, this isn't actually happening. This is a hallucination or some sort. But you could also fucking like say like that. What is the term I wrote down? That it's some type of divine intervention. Like he could be dead and this is his spirit coming back to remind her like there are other things, like don't give up type thing.
Yeah.
You know? Like there is like even like her like talking, thinking about God. There's a lot of interesting themes and metaphors that are just like a little snippet, like a little bit here, a little bit there, that Alfonso has created as she journeys through her survival.
Well, yeah, like I think also like the almost like the guardian that Kowalski becomes too, even when she's having that first bout of survivor's guilt about how if she had just listened immediately, and him being like, that wouldn't have changed anything, because when by the time Houston had given them the warning, they had mere seconds. And that's what Kowalski's kind of was trying to explain in dialogue a little bit, is like, when shit happens up here, shit happens up here. Like, it's kind of like there isn't really middle ground for any kind of fuck up.
Exactly.
And you're talking about shrapnel from satellites coming at that velocity where it's popping through space holes.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
Oh, and then we see what happened to the other dude's fucking head.
Yeah,
face.
you know, it's really just luck at that point.
Yeah.
It's really wrong place, wrong time.
I'm really trying to still like wrap my head around like that image of her in the embryonic state. It's that's not just like this is a beautiful shot, or like, oh, this is just an homage to 2001 Space Odyssey. Alfonso is stating that she's being rebirthed in a way. And I think it's like this is the moment where she's finally in there, and now she has to rebirth herself into a survivalist mode. I don't know, like that's the only thing I can say. But I was like, he wouldn't have that imagery in there without it meaning something for the character's journey. And it's like I'm grasping at, I'm trying to figure out what that meant still. We don't have to find it. We don't have to
That's one of those ones. It's like we could sit here all day and speculate on it, but I'd be more interested in just what Alfonso had to say about it.
Yeah.
I'm
sure there's somewhere in there he'd been talking. Well, there's also he talked about how this whole the movie itself was supposed to be a metaphor for adversion, women's adversity, specifically, especially in space, like the shrapnel is a representation of how women God damn it, where is it at? Often Cuarón told BBC that he does not consider it a science fiction film, rather seeing it as a drama of a woman in space. According to him, the main theme of the film is adversity. Oh, just adversity. I thought I read that a little bit wrong.
Yeah, I was thinking about.
I was comparing. I see women in space, and I was saying, "Oh, women adversity." No, it's just adversity, and he uses the debris as a metaphor for this.
Yeah, okay. I was like, no, the shrapnel fucked everybody up.
Yeah. Okay. So I just misread that and noted it wrong.
It wasn't specifically looking for the women.
Yeah.
It was getting everybody. Everybody.
Yeah. What can go wrong will fucking go wrong.
Well, and also just, man, the way it was shot, those scenes when that shrapnel comes in.
Oh, it's terrifying.
It kind of, it's
just kind of hurry up. Oh, shit. Get it.
That's what I said earlier. I'm like, stop looking at it. You know it's good. Just move, lady. Every time it showed up, she keeps looking at it. I'm like, stop looking at it. No, but this is kind of, I was having this conversation with somebody the other day, but it kind of reminded me of, so recently I just rewatched that first Star Trek remake, the reboot, I guess. Yeah, remake.
Yeah, Star Trek.
Yeah. And then that movie opens up with this crazy star battle happening.
Yeah.
And it's actually one of the coolest openings to a sci-fi movie I've seen. And I forgot because it's just that. It's just chaos in space, and it does that thing where the side of the hole explodes and you hear the and then it gets the people out and it goes dead quiet. And that whole thing with these satellites and these space shuttles just evaporating basically from the force of this shrapnel, I thought was so terrifyingly cool. Because it's just and there's just shit flying everywhere, and I got really special effects wise, I was like, this is cool. This is really cool and very terrifying. I really think
that was Star Trek.
No, this.
Okay.
Those reminded me of that.
Oh, okay. I was
this pure chaos where you expect these bangs and booms and explosions, but it's this very muffled. Just
because there is no sound in space. Well, there's no way for sound to travel in space,
and it has this great music going on with it too. And she's trying to climb over. I just thought,
oh yeah, the soundtrack of this movie is fantastic,
and just those moments of her because that's the thing too in this kind of situation with this hellfire almost coming down. She's not dodging it; it's just missing her.
Yeah,
it's not like she's doing anything to make it so she's not getting hit. Yeah, it's just not hitting her. And it's and you really do feel this tension.
Near miss.
Yeah, any moment she's going to be taken the fuck out. And she just, by coincidence, just somehow doesn't get hit. And it's really cool. But they make that review saying their peril becomes our peril. You really do feel that.
Yeah, 100%. Especially at the very end when she's finally back on Earth. And spoiler alert. And she starts sinking. I'm like, I swear to fucking God, if she drowned, if we spent all this time just to watch her drown.
That's funny because then, so that you had that moment too, but then when she started coming up, I thought she was going to get caught up in the parachute. Something. I was just like, can't we not? But then there is the good point of, where is she? She landed on Earth. Where?
Does that matter?
She's in bumfuck nowhere with no radio, naked, basically. Yeah, that does kind of matter.
Well, no. So there's going to be some sort of satellite or something that picked up.
Oh yeah,
entering the
true. And then Houston also was like, oh, I loved that. Please confirm identity. I'm like, they're crash landing a spaceship right now. I think they have more important things than to try and confirm.
Hey, man, they're following fucking protocol.
I
We
know.
learned at the beginning of the movie. There's protocol to follow.
But they're on fire. She's now drowning. Like, there's other shit going on. But that's
Houston's
fair.
like, yeah, can you give us your name, please? You're entering into the Earth's atmosphere. Looks like you might be dying, but we just need to know your name.
I am still very curious where she landed. I was trying to get it from the geography, but
They filmed that in Arizona, if you care.
that end scene is in Arizona.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's
her
the
way.
same place where they filmed Planet of the Apes, where they landed.
Oh, okay. Oh, interesting. Yeah, I was trying to figure out from when she was coming down,
Very red sand.
where generally she was supposed to be, like, what continent, but I couldn't tell.
It's felt North American to me because of the sand.
Oh, I did feel really happy when I saw a frog in the water.
Oh yeah.
Well, yeah, I was like, okay, that's probably more like a lake or something. We're not like in the middle of the ocean. And granted, she, but I was like, can you imagine? Then you suddenly just pop land in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. You'd be like, no, damn, fuck.
I mean, if they really wanted to explore Murphy's Law, that's what would have happened.
And then it becomes open water. She's
Exactly.
surrounded by sharks.
Oh God.
Man, this lady had quite the afternoon. This was not a very long sequence of events.
So, what would you actually say her actual like arc in it is? There's like, she's like finding a second. Oh yeah, that's probably the fucking embryonic sense. Like through this, like she's. Oh.
Closure of her child's death.
Closure of her child's death. She's finding a new, like lease on life type thing.
Yeah, this is
She doesn't want to just drive anymore. She wants to actually go out and like she's going to be proactive and actually do. Oh yeah, because she says, "I just drive. I just want the silence." So like this is a huge, just one giant, this like near death experience, obviously.
Oh, and then even Kowalski kept saying like once you get into that shuttle, it's just a Sunday drive.
Yeah, exactly. So this is all like as
That's
soon
all
as she gets into the ISS and we have her in that embryonic state, she is now like gestating like a fetus into then for survival to find this new lease on life. Forgive her whatever happened with her daughter, crash land onto Earth to then go into the water. Water very much metaphorical, used in a lot of things as like starting like
Born again, rebirth,
and sure coming out, finding going into the sand and finding her bearing as she stands, and we got that beautiful shot that's a low angle shot to give her all of the power of a new lease on life, and she walks away. I figured it out, Alfonso.
He's right, saying, hey, that is incorrect. You are stupid, sir. You totally misunderstood my film.
Why don't you go direct to the Harry Potter film then?
I like that. I liked your last one. That was really cool. Your tangent. I lost something.
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. Obviously, it wasn't that important.
I just realized that one of your sticker things is an M&M that's a UFO. And oddly fitting from you. It's in space. But there's no aliens. No monsters. Where are the monsters and aliens, Alfonso? If we really want to put her life in peril.
Well, no, they're there. They're just not in this movie. I mean, didn't they confirm that they're there and no one gave a shit?
Are you calling aliens monsters?
I don't know when aliens call us monsters.
Or do aliens call us aliens? What do they call us?
Or they just drive by, they look down, they go, no.
Let's take a few cows and confuse them.
Yeah. What if that's the thing? It's just like a giant
They're just this
prank.
practical joke. They're like teenagers, like
burning signs in the crop, and we're like, what do they mean? They think they mean something. Good one, Dave.
No, what if it's like their shit? Like they just take a shit and it just like leaves. Like, and they're really liking my poop over there.
Okay. That was all very right.
I went into Adam Sandler mode. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Okay. That was great.
Although I'll talk about that. Adam Sandler's a new movie coming out that's in space as well. Like
Oh,
he's
God.
isolated in a space station, and it's about him going insane.
Back to this movie.
She's alive. I don't have anything else to say. I'm like, honestly. I mean, I really, really liked the movie.
I liked that scene when she's talking to the guy on the road, talking at the guy on the radio.
Oh, yeah. I forget his name. Yeah, he's clearly like some Eastern Asian.
I don't know. I couldn't make it out. But that whole...
The dog barking.
The dog barking and the singing a lullaby. That was a nice scene. And then Glasky shows up, which was like, bullshit. As soon as I heard tapping, I was like, there's no way. And
yeah.
Then, I had 2 more canisters left. I was like, that's what I could do without you.
Did you find the
me.
vodka?
Yeah, there was just too many, like...
Well, also, did you notice, like, the lighting of everything changed, too? Like, he turned on, like everything, like, just the atmosphere of of everything changed.
Well, that's what was happening. She turned down her oxygen.
Yeah, she was ready to die.
No, but you start hallucinating.
Yeah.
Yeah, so she was. I didn't even think about, like, at that point she had been sitting there a minute with very low oxygen, and then that happened. So you're saying like divine intervention? No, she was hallucinating, like what happens when you like scuba dive.
Well, but you could also, but
up.
I mean, some people liken or could argue. I mean, obviously not me, but because I don't believe in that shit really. Like when because she's turned down the oxygen, she's suffocating, she's about to die.
No, I know. I just didn't put it together that like she is.
Is it a hallucination or is it divine intervention?
She's having a hallucination. Mm-hmm. Which you could argue hallucination and divine intervention, but I was just like, that just dawned on me.
I mean, there is a lot of like religious like imagery in like not just like Christian or what have you, but like there's the Buddha when she's on the Chinese one. I guess maybe that's the only one I can think of off the top of my head, but there's themes of just like, what do you believe? Her talking like, her entire the speech of like, I never prayed to God. I don't know how. I mean, if there's a thing that I can even do, if I even believe after what happened with my daughter, like, yeah, no, like there's a lot more to this film than just her surviving in space. Like, it's so much like a mental journey as well of like, what does existence mean as well?
Mm-hmm. Poor Captain. That seems like a brutal way to go.
Do you think he beat the guy's spacewalk time before he died?
Technically, as long as he's out there.
Technically, he's still racking up points.
Still, you got to go find him to end that one.
Dark as fuck. Oh man.
But yeah, no. I mean, it sucks, but everyone else, like that whole scrap metal thing, probably was really quick. Captain Matt, on the other hand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's weird to hear. There's also like, I think it's on Wikipedia, maybe I found it somewhere else, but there's a list of like what astrophysicists have like deemed as like the inaccuracies of the film, even though many other people have been like, no, like just astronauts themselves are like, I actually really appreciate this film for its like accuracy, even though like some things aren't, like the spacesuits don't open from the front, but they just had to costume design that so it was easier for the actors to get in and out of. Mm-hmm. It was just a practical thing. Astronauts are like, this movie is like like they've loved it because it's like, oh, this is like this is a great depiction of being in space, actually. And they got astrophysicists that are like, well, technically, this space shuttle, this space station had been decommissioned before blah blah blah. And it's like, all right,
Well, yeah, I mean, I just found it here. There's a whole list of it, but it's also like, if this is your field where you're an expert on this, it'd be kind of cool to see it.
Then you make a fucking movie.
They don't want to because they're astrophysicists. They don't care about making a movie. But yeah, there's one. Two,
I mean, there's also
4.
a difference between like them like pointing out the inaccuracies and like being like trying to diminish the movie with the inaccuracies. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I think a lot of people immediately connect like pointing out inaccuracies like as trying to diminish the movie, And
but a lot of people are just like, it looks like a lot of people really enjoyed it, even though they were like, yeah, that's not really how it happens, but I don't care. It's just like, it's kind of cool.
It's like it was more about the woman's journey of, survival and.
And yeah, I guess that's like paleontologists complaining about Jurassic Park. You're like, do you care? Shut up, Ross.
That's not what a Tyrannosaurus Rex sounds like, actually. He goes, they mixed together a bear and a tiger. And
Yeah, like even I'm just quickly. There's certain things that are like, yeah, we changed this to make it more of a tension.
Yeah.
Like as opposed to it just easily being this clip that goes. That's like no, we need to fumble with it to make that tension longer.
Exactly.
You know? So you're like, okay, yeah, that's called movie making.
It's called storytelling.
Yeah, it's called.
It's the reason why they didn't take the Eagles to Mordor.
It's called the movie. I just saw a clip of that actually.
Is it the dude with his girlfriend?
Yeah,
I know exactly.
Well, one, it wouldn't make a very interesting story.
Yeah.
And two, yeah. His own arrogance, you know. But yeah, I guess that's
we're at 50, so
cool. I mean, easy peasy, love it, squeezy.
What do you want to give it?
I don't know.
Okay, really?
I don't know.
Okay. Give it a. Do you want to give it a balloon?
Gold star.
A banana sticker.
I was stuck between a 3.5 and a 4.
I'd give it a 4.
4?
Yeah. I mean, I feel like this is on par with Little Women.
It's just such a okay, yeah. For I guess going back to what I said before too, for being what it is, and it's this survival thriller thing in space. It is like if you're in the mood for this kind of thing, it fits that perfectly.
Oh yeah,
like
it's definitely don't go into expecting it's like science fiction as we know science fiction.
No, if you're looking for like that, I mean, Castaway to me is a little bit different because of it. Well, Castaway is one, like what I was saying earlier, is very long, but it's because also his experience is very long. So
exactly.
You get a lot of time and dialogue to be with him and learn. And
yeah, no, and like we I think we kind of hit it on the nose earlier. Is this is like a race against time for survival while he's waiting for a rescue.
Yeah, because if you think about it, because there's 2 waves of the hour and 30 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
So we're talking about 3 hours. No, yeah, 3 hours. And then whatever time it takes for her to actually land. So we're talking about a 4 or 5 hour fucking event.
Excursion for her.
For her. We're talking about this is 5 hours of her life.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like, yeah, if you're looking at so this is a battle against time before this woman is just going to float in space forever
and suffocate and
die. So yeah 4 out of 5 because it is very, very cool tick-tock kind of thriller. Mm-hmm. And it does it really well. Dialogue's good. It's really simple in the sense of our character development.
Once like the conflict of the need for survival kicks in, the tension is there and it never really stops
until we are done. Mm-hmm. Well, because even that whole scene when she gets into the first space station, you're like, okay, we have a moment of relief, and then you see the fire that she misses.
Yeah,
you're like, oh well, that's gonna come bite us in the ass in a second.
Yeah, exactly. And also, it does a really good job of kind of building up like tools and things that she's going to learn, like when she takes the fire extinguisher with her so she can, space move and whatnot.
Which is also cool because that's also just a happy accident because it just happens to be in the latch's way and she just pulls it in to close the latch and then she just happens to have this tool.
Also another sense of like either so like Deus Ex Machina can also be like talked about as divine intervention. All of these Murphy's Law that it's like leading for anything that can go wrong will go wrong. There's also every little thing that she needs kind of happens to be right where she needs it as she needs it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So yeah, 4 out of 5. 4 out of 5 carrots. 4 out of 5 carrots.
Did I show you that a video of the theater DVC?
Yeah.
Okay.
You showed it to me last week.
I think last week, yeah.
But yeah, so we're getting into what are you doing now?
I believe we're going into our weird love story stuff.
We're doing like kind of getting into the whole February thing. We're kind of
leaning into the
dark
Valentine's
side.
Day dark side of Valentine's Day.
Yeah, kind of like what's up first?
Wrist covers.
Oh yeah, we're doing Wrist Cutters, a love story.
So we're doing like dark love stories, and then another thing we're moving into toxic.
Yeah, toxic love, that kind of thing. It's all about love, but in a really way you're not like Hallmark. It's a little different. The first movie is called Wrist Cutters, a love story. So hey, and if you know it,
yeah,
it's a cult classic. I remember really enjoying that one.
It's not a Hallmark is the best way to put it. My brain froze. I wanted to just like explain a Hallmark movie really quick, and then my brain was like,
I think people know what you mean.
lumberjack woman. It's pretty much
Lumberjack woman. Lumberjack, those kind of movies.
There's a lumberjack, and there's a woman, and there's love. Oh.
Making me so uncomfortable in this last little bit. All right. This is Tommy.
Oh, Jacob. I'm Jacob.
You made me forget to do all the other stuff.
All right. It's Instagram. We're on Instagram. Follow us on Instagram. Follow us on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, anywhere you get your podcasts or YouTube videos, your stuff. Yeah.
On all of our posts is our link tree where you can find us on all your podcast listening platforms. I tried to take my job. Like, subscribe, follow for all our upcoming episodes. Oh my God, this is Tommy. This is Tommy Jacobs mixtape. Shut up. I'm out of here.